Hey everybody, welcome to a 3-part series on how I plant garlic. This is the first part of the series. Today we're going to be tilling and turning our soil, breaking up our heads of garlic, planting our cloves, and getting ready for the winter. It is mid-November in New England. It is the mid to late fall, which is the perfect time to plant garlic. Garlic is planted in the fall. It sits in the ground all winter, and then in the spring, the bulbs start to form and the plant starts to grow. There's no real definite time you have to plant, but you do have to plant before the ground freezes. So as long as you can still till the soil and it's before winter time, you can plant your garlic. So today we are getting our soil ready, and the first tool we're going to use, the BROADFORK. And mine's broken, but it'll still work. So a BROADFORK is kind of like a giant pitchfork, a steel bar with spiked tines on it. I'm missing a tine because I broke this off on a rock. I think originally the main use for the BROADFORK was just soil aeration, which was to put the forks in and then wiggle them around a little bit. But I find that it's a very useful tool for pulling up some deep-rooted weeds and also picking rocks occasionally. This thing is 9 years old and I've only broken one tine, and we have rocks like this everywhere in our garden. So this is what I use it for. So after BROADFORKing, getting the soil aerated and pulling out all the weeds, I raked all of the rows, and now I'm going to shape the rows to get ready for planting. So this is the garlic I harvested this summer, and I'm going to take this and use this as my seed garlic for next year. The magical thing about growing garlic is it propagates exponentially. So this is a head of garlic. This just grew in the ground. Now what I'm going to do is break this up into individual cloves, and each one of these cloves is going to go in the ground, and this clove will produce another head. So every head of garlic is going to produce 5, 6, 7 other heads of garlic next year. I've been growing garlic for about 8 years now, and when I started planting garlic, I bought a bag of seed garlic and it had 12 heads of garlic. I broke those heads apart, planted all the cloves, and I got the next year maybe 20 or 30 heads of garlic. I broke those up, planted all those, and then I got maybe 100 heads of garlic. And then that 100 turned into about 400, and then 1,000. And so that's kind of where I've been the last few years. So when you grow garlic, you're going to retain about half, 2/3 of your garlic for seed for next year, and then you're going to sell or eat the rest. And I want to divide my garlic into 2 categories: garden-worthy and cooking-worthy. I'm going to take the biggest ones and I'm going to break these up and plant these in the garden, because this big head is going to probably produce another big head next year. The little one is going to probably produce a smaller head, and I want to produce bigger heads as possible. So the more I keep selectively propagating the larger heads of garlic, the bigger the heads of garlic will eventually be. Anything that size is going to just be used for cooking. I'm going for the largest heads to go in the garden. So the thing you're going to do to get this into the ground is take your head of garlic and you're going to just break it up. The skin is okay to leave it on there like that, but you just want to break it up so your cloves are separated. You do not have to peel the cloves, you just have to separate them. I plant my garlic about 6 to 8 inches apart from each other, and I do about a foot between rows. So let's start getting this in the ground. These cloves have a top and a bottom. So you want to make sure when you put this in the ground, it goes in with the root end down and the tip up. This is where your flower is going to grow, and this is where your roots are going to grow. Go into the ground with my finger, 2 or 3 inches, 3 inches into the ground, and then I put this right into the bottom of the hole. So the whole thing is maybe 1.5 inches tall, but I put it into a 3-inch hole. All right, now just a very light raking to get some dirt over the top of each clove, and then the winter's gonna do the rest, covering that up with the rest of the soil. Last but not least, for the garlic, straw, not hay, straw. We got everything in the ground. We have a layer of straw over the top of everything for mulch, and that is for a little bit of blanket insulation for the winter, but also for keeping the weeds down first thing in the spring when all the grass and weedy things start to grow up, and also to retain moisture once that spring rain starts coming down and the ground is wet. We want those bulbs to stay moist. That's about it until early next spring when we see the magical little green sprouts coming up through the straw. So the next part of this video, we're going to take you into midsummer when I do some midsummer maintenance on the garlic as they're starting to grow up. And then we will take you into part 3 of growing garlic, which is the harvest of the garlic. So stick around, and thanks very much for watching.